I rescheduled my flight, had no other business in Houston. Some told me I possibly could run into HoneyKomb Brazy, you know, after the Vlad TV interview.
Okay.
I don't know that this woman who just walked by me and stepped on my shoe and kind of nudged me was Jay Prince's daughter. All I know is, man, they got rude staff, and I've been tipping it, not knowing that's his daughter. So after the guy said I don't with him, he started leaning over talking to Dr. Candace Matthews' husband, who was just sitting down right within maybe 5 feet from me. So I'm watching his body language. I'm seeing his body language. They're having a long conversation, about a good 8 to 10 minutes. He walk off and go into the corner. So I keep my eye on him the whole time. Dr. Candace Matthews' husband get up from the table, smiling, laughing. I said, yeah, man, I see that body language. He said, yeah, man, he mad. Yeah, man, you a fool, man. He said, you sent him a picture of you. I said, that's where I know that from. That's right, yeah, that jumped in my inbox one time.
And you actually did that?
Listen, if you get in my DM.
Charleston White just admitted something you don't hear from him very often. Before he even made it back to Houston, HoneyKomb Brazy was already on his mind.
I'm telling mob ties, rap a lot, y'all can do y'all hear that woman's voice? Do y'all hear the pain in that woman's voice? Now you've been knowing this was a kids event for over a month, but because Jay Prince, because I refused to sit down with you, y'all called my manager and I told you ain't sitting down with no. Now all of a sudden the mayor's office is getting calls. So you mean to tell me you nigga go put kids' life in jeopardy? Y'all called the mayor's office and said, man, when we know it's a kids event and he speak, we go hurt him at a kids event. That's why I hate you coward ass mob. That's why I hate you coward ass gangsters. That's why you ain't all the power y'all got in Houston. Y'all could have helped that woman in the organization, but you want to derail her event. You James Prince, your punk sons too. And your weird daughter that's abusing kids. Fuck James Prince family. Go help somebody. Go help somebody. I'm willing to die and go to jail. The only reason I ain't show up is because Miss Pap called me. The police didn't say they wasn't gonna protect me because I got some that'll go against James Prince with me. Listen, James Prince run 5th Ward. He don't run Houston. They run 5th Ward. He don't run Houston. He don't run Texas. He don't run Dallas. He don't run that. Run 5th Ward and that rap-a-lot label. That don't run nothing else. And I tell that to his face, he don't run nothing. You got to pay somebody to do something, James. You got to pay somebody to do something, James. You ain't know let's go do nothing, James. You ain't know that'll take his shirt off.
Charleston said he had changed his flight and didn't really have any business left in the city. But after his Vlad TV interview, he claims people began warning him that he might unexpectedly cross paths with HoneyKomb Brazy. Charleston said, some told me I possibly could run into HoneyKomb Brazy, you know, after the Vlad TV interview. And that matters because Charleston is usually the type to talk as if nobody can make him uncomfortable. This time, though, he wasn't acting like the possibility meant nothing. He was clearly aware of who could be nearby. And once he started noticing some strange energy inside a Houston establishment, everything suddenly felt different.
Nigga, please. Nigga, I ain't scared of now one of you bitch ass nigga, homie. I think all you had sit down to pee when it come to it like me and the police. This is what I want to tell you, James Prince. When I talked to the FBI yesterday, the FBI want to know, why would Houston Police Department, the FBI is curious to know, James, why would the Houston Police Department give you a police report to an open murder investigation with people names and statements on there? Who in the police department you got paying? Who you paying in HPD? Because everybody know you got the police on the payroll. The FBI just can't infiltrate the Houston Police Department to get them. Everybody know James Prince got the Houston Police Department on their payroll. That's why when Trey and Zero was when them jumping on Trey, that's why they did it in front of the Houston Police Department, and the Houston Police Department never stopped it. Y'all noticed that in that video, right?
According to Charleston, a woman walked past him, stepped on his shoe, and lightly nudged him. At first, he didn't think much of it,
other than assuming the staff was simply being rude. But later, he says he found out exactly who he believed that woman was. Charleston said, "I didn't know that this woman who just walked by me, stepped on my shoe and kind of nudged me, was Jay Prince's daughter." Suddenly, what initially seemed like one awkward little interaction became connected to a much larger situation. Charleston claims he had no idea he was inside an establishment associated with Jay Prince's family. He says he was tipping people, sitting there normally and carrying on as if it were just another event. According to Charleston, nobody pulled him aside or clearly explained whose territory he was entering, and given everything Charleston has publicly said about Jay Prince and those around him, he feels someone should have given him a warning. But the incident involving the shoe wasn't even the moment that really caught his attention. Charleston says he noticed a man sit down near Dr. Candace Matthews and begin what appeared to be a serious conversation. He watched them for several minutes, paying close attention to the man's body language while Dr. Candace remained only a few feet away. He said the conversation continued for roughly 8 to 10 minutes before the man eventually got up and moved away.
Why would the Houston Police Department give James Prince and his son, who was at a open murder investigation, why would they give him the police report where they got witness addresses and witness statements and witness names? Who in the police department is that crooked? Were they in bed with Rap-A-Lot mob ties? This is an open murder investigation. The FBI want to get Houston Police Department and Rap-A-Lot mob. They trying to connect the dots with them too. And you can best believe there are people making phone calls right now today. You can best believe there are people making phone calls right now today to the FBI wanting to know how does James Prince get a motherfucking police report with witnesses' names and addresses and statements on it in an open murder investigation. Who dirty? What dirty cops working with Rap-A-Lot? Does James Prince get a police report with witnesses' names and addresses and statements on it in an open murder investigation? Who dirty? What dirty cops working with Rap-A-Lot? Those are the questions we need to be asking. Not that we trying to shut down a Houston, Texas. Everybody knows Jay Prince is dirty and there's dead bodies around him and his sons. So let's get the FBI in on this, James. Since you so bad, where you can shut down youth events, you ain't that bad. Shut your up. Quit crying. And I ain't never sitting down with no like you. Hit me in the mouth. I keep telling you, if don't none of you like what I'm saying, you kill me or hit me in the mouth or shut you up. Cause I ain't gonna quit talking. Can't no put no muzzle on my mouth. Suck my James. You and your group of gangsters. Say what's up, soul brother?
My brother, you make it in yet?
No, I ain't made it in yet.
Okay, dang, I was gonna tell you, man, we in the championship. I was gonna try to get you to come out to the game.
Yeah. Now I ain't go.
Charleston remembered saying, "Yeah, man, I see that body language." After that, Charleston says he began looking at everyone around him a little differently. From his perspective, the people nearby seemed to understand exactly what was going on, while he felt like he was the only one who didn't have the full picture.
Okay, look, the jacket ain't make it in yet, but I got the address to send it to you.
Okay, bet.
All right, it'll be sweet, man. But yeah, man, man, we'll see you tomorrow, man.
I already bet.
What do I need to do? Do I need to just text you before I get there? Or,
Yeah, just call. I'll call you when I get in. I get in real early, so I'll hit you tomorrow morning.
Okay, bet it up.
I bet.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, so y'all just heard it from Miss Pap yourself, man. Ain't nobody shutting anyway. Ain't no comedy show. I don't know where he's getting no comedy show from. My comedy show is in Virginia. I told y'all I was going to Houston to do a community event. Community and comedy don't even sound alike. Community event, comedy show. Community event, comedy show. So I don't know where the fuck these get off with a comedy show. But these bloggers, that's why I tell you, don't believe these bloggers. Only believe half of what you hear, half of what you see, then you research the other and then put all the facts together and you see what's true. But please don't listen to these bloggers. And these are my friends. These are my guys. But I know they're just doing lackluster reporting and they just doing this for numbers. They're not going to do any due diligence. They're a team of people. They're not going to do any research. Hey, call Charleston. Hey, call somebody from Rap-A-Lot. Hey, they're not going to do any of that to verify and make sure everything is credible. They're gonna hear something, it's gonna sound sensationalized, it's gonna sound like this gonna be, and they're gonna post it without any doing accurate research, and that's where we're losing it as a people and as a culture, because we are taking lies and half lies for facts and face value truth in spirit and in
Charleston later claimed that Dr. Candace knew more about the people inside that building than she had ever told him. Now, that doesn't automatically mean Charleston was deliberately set up. That's simply his interpretation of what took place, and there are multiple versions of this story circulating. But Charleston clearly believes he was placed in a situation where everyone else had information that he didn't. With HoneyKomb Brazy already on his mind before everything happened, Charleston began connecting every glance, every conversation, and every unusual interaction inside that building. That's when this stopped feeling like an ordinary Houston appearance and became something Charleston believed could have ended very badly. And this is where Charleston's account took an even more serious turn, because he says the tension wasn't limited to what was happening inside that establishment. He believes it was already spilling over into a community event he was expected to attend. Charleston claimed the event had been organized weeks earlier and was focused on children in Houston. According to him, everyone involved already understood exactly what kind of event it was. So when he began hearing that outside pressure was suddenly being placed on the organizers, he immediately pointed the finger at Jay Prince and the people surrounding him.
I'm riding Trump.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this, Charleston. Your fight, you have your fight on how you do your stuff, bro.
Man, Dr. King, all I know, y'all left me vulnerable. Somebody should have been whispering in my ear, this is this man's daughter establishment. Get out of here. We seeing what he doing. So I ain't caring about nothing. Y'all watch this do this to me. And only for me to come back and lie and say I wasn't invited. I'm up by lying.
It was a public event. Everybody's invited.
I didn't know it was. She finna piss me off because she's scared.
Yeah. Hey, now look, listen.
Charleston said, "You've known this was a kids' event for over a month." From Charleston's perspective, the timing seemed far too convenient. He claims there had already been efforts to get him to sit down with Jay Prince, but Charleston refused. Then, after turning that down, he says the mayor's office allegedly began receiving calls related to concerns about his appearance. That's when Charleston completely lost his patience. He accused people connected to the situation of placing unnecessary pressure on an event that was supposed to benefit the community. And rather than directing his frustration at just one person, Charleston began calling out the entire Prince family. But here's the important part. Charleston was making some very serious accusations during this rant, and those claims came directly from him. They were not established facts. Still, Charleston clearly believed the event was being disrupted because of his ongoing issues with Jay Prince. His argument was basically that if someone truly had that much influence in Houston, they should be using it to support community organizations rather than creating additional problems around them.
You nigga, I knew that was the type of lay in the bed like Punky Brewster. Y'all got to go back and watch the when Punky Brewster first come on. She was laying on her stomach with them white socks on, with her 2 feet up in her, and they was crossed. Yeah, that whack was laying on this bed like Punky Brewster. Say, I thought I seen him tapping his big toe. I ain't say, what y'all betting? And listen, that'll be on Club. I've been on Clubhouse for a long time. Say, listen, Whack 100 be on Clubhouse a long time, sitting up there button. Say,
Charleston said all the influence y'all have in Houston could have been used to help that woman and support her organization. That was the point he continued emphasizing. In Charleston's view, this went beyond a personal disagreement. He was portraying it as powerful people allegedly getting involved in something positive simply because they didn't approve of what he had been saying publicly.
ever catch me? I'm laying on my back with that dick in the air. I'm laying on my back. Look like I just got rolled. I'm laying there out. But you ain't gonna find me on no now picture stand on my belly. I ain't no man got no business on his belly with it supposed to be standing up posing with that in his hand. You got played. And your wife got to go to the beauty shop and listen to her husband. Them talk about her husband back, his booty, his calf muscles, up under his feet. Yeah, I bet you eat with your nerve, don't you, Wack? I bet you one of them big old put an arch in his back and go down there and let his feet hang off the bottom of the bed and put your ass in there trying to comfortably eat. Well, I don't eat. Yeah, I don't eat. I'm like, yeah, no, I ain't never, and I ain't no tongue kisser, nigga. I'm a langer. Yeah, laying on it. Say, and he looked it comfortable too. Oh, I get all the time. I don't lay on my belly though. Yeah, you done time before. You know not to never lay on your belly. It's something psychologically keeping off his belly. But I guess you look like needed some air down there. Had a little bit of ass needed.
And Charleston wasn't backing down either. He claimed the only reason he didn't show up at one point was because a woman involved with the event contacted him directly. He also rejected the idea that law enforcement had simply refused to protect him. Then Charleston took another jab at J. Prince's reputation. He said, James Prince runs Fifth Ward. He doesn't run Houston. That statement really revealed where Charleston stood. He wasn't denying that J. Prince had influence. Charleston was basically arguing that influence has limits, and he wasn't willing to treat J. Prince like someone who controlled an entire city. He went even further, saying J. Prince doesn't run Texas, Dallas, or anywhere beyond the areas Charleston personally associates with him.
Say, boy, I can only imagine, boy, when it's time to fart or poop, you on there arguing with and talking tough on Pyru. Yeah, on, well, pull up then on Pyru. Listen, that thing got. Say, I'm wrong with you in the game, but boy, no wonder you ain't live on Instagram. You wanna lay on your belly hollering at the world. Getting out. Boy, you probably got. Hey, you probably hunched in the bed like a.
And that's when Charleston's rant stopped sounding defensive and started feeling like a direct challenge. Rather than trying to distance himself from the controversy, Charleston was now openly questioning J. Prince's influence, his reputation, and the fear he believed people had surrounding his name. But that challenge was about to take Charleston into an even serious series of allegations, this time involving Houston police, an ongoing investigation, and what Charleston says he discussed with federal authorities. Charleston still wasn't finished challenging J. Prince's influence, because he then moved completely away from the community event and began making much heavier claims about Houston law enforcement. According to Charleston, he had recently spoken with the FBI, and he says one question kept coming up. How could information from an open murder investigation allegedly make its way into the hands of people connected to J. Prince?
When I talked to the FBI yesterday, the FBI wanted to know why did the Houston Police Department would give you a police report from an open murder investigation with people's names and statements on it. Now, that is a serious accusation, so it's important to make clear that this is Charleston's claim. Dribzine has not seen evidence proving that J. Prince paid police officers, illegally received protected information, or that federal investigators reached the conclusions Charleston suggested. Still, Charleston openly questioned whether someone inside the Houston Police Department could have been leaking information, asking how witness names, addresses, and statements could allegedly become available outside an active case. He even asked, who in the police department is that crooked? Were they in bed with Rap-A-Lot mob ties? Charleston was now taking the story far beyond his issues with J. Prince, suggesting possible connections between people around Rap-A-Lot and Houston police. But again, those were Charleston's suspicions, not established facts. At the same time, bloggers online were spreading another version of the story. Some claimed a Houston comedy show had been shut down because of the drama. Charleston immediately pushed back, saying, "My comedy show is in Virginia. I told y'all I was going to Houston to do a community event." He mocked the confusion by repeating, "Community event, comedy show," arguing that bloggers were rushing to post the wildest version without checking basic facts. Charleston told viewers, "Only believe half of what you hear, half of what you see, then you research the other." Ironically, that same standard also applies to the serious allegations Charleston was making himself. Then the story returned to what happened inside the Houston establishment. Another version claimed Charleston knew more than he admitted and had been brought there because people wanted him to address previous comments about J. Prince's daughter. Charleston completely rejected that. He said he didn't even know the woman who crossed paths with him was connected to J. Prince and insisted nobody warned him about where he was.
Charleston said, "All I know, y'all left me vulnerable. Somebody should have been whispering in my ear. This is this man's daughter establishment. Get out of here." That basically sums up his argument. Charleston believed people around him saw the tension, but still allowed him to remain there without explaining the bigger picture. That's why he also questioned Dr. Candace Matthews, wondering why someone he trusted would bring him into that environment without warning him. Another person then went even further, claiming Dr. Candace may have helped arrange the situation, but that claim was also unproven. And this brings the story back to HoneyKomb Brazy. Charleston admitted that even before everything happened, he had already been warned he could possibly run into HoneyKomb Brazy in Houston. That doesn't necessarily mean he was afraid, but it showed that HoneyKomb was already on his radar. Charleston knew Houston was a neutral ground, and he understood that crossing paths with someone connected to his previous comments could turn an internet beef into something much more serious. Then Charleston shifted gears and started roasting Whack 100, joking about his appearance and an old situation that had circulated online. But that wasn't the real story. The bigger question was what Charleston believed was happening around him in Houston. One version says Charleston walked into an establishment connected to J. Prince's daughter without realizing exactly where he was, then became suspicious after noticing certain conversations and body language. Another version claims he knew more than he admitted and had been brought there so he could address previous comments. Charleston believes Dr. Candace should have warned him, while there is still no clear proof that J. Prince, HoneyKomb Brazy, Dr. Candace, or anyone else secretly coordinated the situation. And that may be the biggest takeaway. Charleston has built his reputation on saying whatever is on his mind, but being physically present in another person's city, knowing someone he has publicly discussed could be nearby, and realizing he may be inside an establishment connected to that person is a completely different situation. So, was Charleston actually being set up, or did he walk into a tense situation and start connecting the dots afterward? And was HoneyKomb Brazy someone Charleston genuinely didn't want to encounter? Let me know what you think in the comments.